house, in the house.
What is up, gamers? AzureIsuma here, and man, it's been a crazy few weeks, and I haven't been actually posting much content. I've been going back and checking out old games that I played from when I was really just fresh into MMOs, and some stuff that's more recent as well. Some things that are still out. A lot of the games have been shut down apparently, so that was kind of a drag at the time. But one of the games I actually went back to try out because I actually wanted to get back into this game for PvP, and it's Dragon Nest. So Dragon Nest is a free-to-play combat fast-paced MMORPG that was originally published by Nexon but then was handed back to Identity Games around 2016, I believe it was, 2017 maybe. This game is actually one of my favorite games because of the action combat. The action combat is so smooth, it plays really well. And as far as the PvP goes, I loved it. I mean, it was one of the best PvP games I've ever played. And I've played a lot of games since, I've started playing MMOs. And Dragon Nest has one of the most in-depth systems, even though it looks very, kiddish. It looks very anime-like. And a lot of people find this as a turn-off, but, I mean, it's a really good game regardless. This is actually one of the only games I've played with my friends where we'd get together, go to one person's house, and just PvP for hours. We'd PvP for hours, just crap talking to each other and just going at it. And it was just all in good fun. The combat was great. I just loved this game. Now, as much as I say I do love this game, there were a lot of turnoffs about it. I mean, Nexon pretty much ruined it when they had control of it. They made the game completely pay to win after, I guess it was the 40 cap when Sea Dragon came out. Then 60 cap came around and, you had to upgrade all of your gear again. And the game just got really repetitive and pay to win. I mean, it's the instance dungeon game, so you would expect that. But the amount of pay to win element that was introduced to the game kind of knocked it away for a lot of people. Other than that, the idea behind Dragon Nest was really good. I mean, the game is huge. So there are a total of 15 characters you can choose from, and 8 of those characters actually have sub-branches that go off into 2 other classes. And those branches go off into 2 other classes. So say if you start off as a warrior, you would go at level 20, you'd go off into Swordmaster or Mercenary. And if you went down the Swordmaster branch, you would either, at 45, you would go down the either Lunar Knight branch or the Gladiator branch. And each of these branches drastically changed how you played the class. Swordmaster would start you off with the skill tree of both the Lunar Knight and the Gladiator. But as soon as you hit Lunar Knight or Gladiator, you stick to specifically those skills mostly when you come to dealing your damage. Whereas the Mercenary tree would go into Barbarian or Destroyer, and you would stick to those skills, and the classes play completely different. It's not just a skin difference or anything, it's a complete different play style. So the reason I decided to come back to this game was because I was feeling very nostalgic about my old games. As I said before, I used to love playing these games, and they brought me great joy when I was going through a lot of things in my life. And Dragon Nest was one of those games for me that it kind of just held a lot of stuff together when I felt like nothing else was going right. And it got me through a lot of stuff. I met a lot of cool people in this game. I actually still speak to some of those people. You meet a lot of people through playing MMOs, and you don't think, these people are going to stick around, but they do. And Dragon Nest was just one of those games for me. I did honestly try my hand at coming back to this game when I took my little break from doing videos. And it's kind of hard to come back into the game from so far away, because when I left the game, I had a wealth of items that were worth a lot of money at the time, but now I think I'm 1 cap behind actually only, and it's just a big difference in where the cap is from where I was at the time. Now everybody's 95, they don't need all the stuff that I have, like the level 80 crest and everything. Everybody's all geared up, and it's kind of just how do I come back now? And I've given up on trying to grind up to the level of 95, and I've just gotten into PvP and just gone and played PvP every time I logged in. I'd say my main gripe about this game in 2018 is that you can't come into this game at this point in time because there isn't enough of a player base at the lower level to get you through all the stuff that you would do at lower level with other people. Like, yeah, you can go ahead and grab like the basic armor and enhance it to just the minimum to just complete the dungeons. But as you grow higher, you're gonna need the higher plus items, and you can't get those because no one's running Green Dragon anymore or Desert Dragon anymore, and it's just kind of it just leaves to where there's no looking out for the younger players, the newer players that are coming into the game, and I feel like that's a bad thing because that's probably how the game is gonna die off when it comes down to it. It was a long time ago, and they were talking about a Dragon Nest 2 coming out, and they teased that it would be open world and the same characters would be there, and that the game would focus more heavily on the lore. I mean, this game focuses heavily on lore. Like, the story in this game is just constant rushing you into the story. At some point, like, you do get lost, and I think what happened, now that I go back and look at it, it was like a time skip that happened. So that should explain what happened there. I mean, if people decide to go and play this game, you see what happened. I don't want to like spoil it for anyone that wants to go back and play or whatever. But yeah, this game is just it's a great MMO. I just wish it had a better company behind it. I wish they didn't keep up with the pay to win style that they are doing. I feel like this game would do really well at this point in time because it is an old school MMO, and a lot of new players are trying to get into MMOs, and they're not getting the support they need from the beginning from older games like this that has been out since 2010, to where the newer games like Black Desert and soon to be out Bless, like, they pretty much cater to you as soon as you come into the game. Black Desert is constantly making it easier for you to catch up to the people that are, at level 56 and level 60 and such. Like, at one point, this game was big enough in, the Asian countries to where it had its own world championship. Like, they had a whole Dragon Nest World Championship go on for 2 years in a row, and I haven't seen anything about it since then. But a lingering effect of that is that they still have the DWC characters, where it's a character you can create for PvP, and that's all it works for is PvP. You have the PvP, you have all your skill points, so you can set up your skills, and you'd be good to go for equalized PvP. So this game has two game modes when it comes to PvP. There's equalized and unequalized. Unequalized is where you take your gear that you've grinded for, take it into PvP, and you just nuke everybody. Whereas equalized is where all the stats are dumbed down to where you can't one-shot people. You have to actually work for your combos, use your skills, and know what your skills do and how to time them to actually get your kills. Or, you can play an acrobat and just, infinite people. I personally don't see myself going back to this game to play through the content. I do go back once in a while to do PvP, and if my friends, want to get on and say, hey, let's PvP, then I'll get on for them too. But I personally will not be going back to just play the game and, grind through content anymore. The PvP for me is still fun because it is, like I said, the best PvP game out there still. But that's just to me. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Like, subscribe, share, and peace.